Welcome back to the Deliberate Exchange. My name is Chelsea, and I'm so glad that you're here listening. Okay, so I this was brought up on a She Walks call, and I then spent a little bit of time journaling about it, and this is what came out of it. So, my basic question that I started with in my journal was, do we stay small because we drink, or do we drink to stay small? And to me, it's both. Like, again, that came to me as I was journaling because I spent years convincing myself that I was fine. I'm a high functioning, productive, high achiever, but I was also incredibly disconnected. And what I've learned in my journey with it being sober and alcohol free for almost 6 years, in the work that I'm doing with nervous system and stress responses, that we use alcohol to stay small, but we also use it to feel big. And it's this really strange paradox where we drink to take up space in a room we're too afraid to fully step into so that we can feel bold and uninhibited and relaxed. But underneath, it's a nervous system strategy, one that says it's safer to be a version of me than the real me. And the truth is, there's no way to build the alignment and authenticity and abundance that everybody's talking about on social media on a body that is slowly shutting down. You can't build big or step outside of like your comfort zone when your brain is foggy and your hormones are off and your heart is running on fumes and literally every single system in your body is being impacted by alcohol. And I say this with love, not judgment, because so many of us, drinking is how we survived a world that rewarded burnout and self-abandonment. It's how we managed the tension between who we were and who we thought we had to be. Drinking keeps us safe in our smallness, because if you stay small, you can't be judged. And you certainly won't be able to outgrow anybody, and you certainly won't risk being found out as the fraud that sometimes you feel like you are. And so you don't ask for the raise, you downplay the wins, you don't talk about how heavy it feels sometimes to carry all that you do, and you hold it all together so that nobody sees the cracks. But that silence, that whole pretending that I'm fine energy, is what keeps you small and is absolute fucking bullshit. Staying small by drinking was protection. It certainly was for me. It's how my nervous system learned to keep me safe when expansion felt too risky. But at some point, the protection stops helping and it starts holding you back, and it keeps you exactly where you don't want to be, right? Because you want to be in the authentic, aligned, and abundant mindset that you keep reading about on Instagram, but you don't know how to get there. When you stop drinking, your body begins to heal. But what really changes is your relationship with power. You start to feel what it's like to take up space without apologizing, to actually speak without shrinking or second guessing what you've said, to celebrate without numbing. And that's when you realize that sobriety isn't about just removing alcohol. It is about remembering who the fuck you are when you no longer need to shrink. And in that remembering, that reclamation is where my work begins. And if you are listening to this and you feel like you've outgrown the version of you that needed to cope, but you're not sure on how to step into the woman who's ready to create, that's what I'm here for. And there's lots of options that you can, start going down this path. I'll link some things below in the show notes. But, even if you were to take the personal power map, for instance, this helps you see yourself clearly again, your hidden strengths, your growth edge, and the version of you that's been waiting underneath all of this. I'm fine. Like, as Ross on Friends said, you're not fine. And we need to stop pretending like the weight of everything that we carry in our personal lives and in the world and etc. isn't really fucking heavy. And if you're curious about my work or this topic in particular, just message me. You can find me on socials and I can expand or elaborate whatever you need. Because you were not meant to stay small. You are meant to rise deliberately. If this episode has resonated, you can share it with a friend. You can share it with somebody else who you see as playing small. You can send this to the woman in your life who is doing really, really big things, but doesn't even want to share it because she's afraid of what others might think of it. In the meantime, breathe it in, be deliberate, and please be good to yourself.